Non-tuberculous mycobacterial lung infections are increasing worldwide, affecting over 500,000 people and carrying a significant health and socio-economic cost. Treatment is 1 to 2 years long, complex and often toxic. Current therapies have limited efficacy, mortality remains high, and up to half of patients are unable to complete treatment due to poor tolerability of existing antibiotics.
I was diagnosed with NTM in 2020. By then, I'd had it for years and I was really quite ill. I'd had to give up my job because I was too ill to do that.
My name is Alex Horsley. I'm a professor of respiratory medicine and I work at the Manchester Adult Cystic Fibrosis Centre, where I care for patients with cystic fibrosis. One of the complications of cystic fibrosis is infection with a group of organisms called non-tuberculous mycobacteria. Now, this is relatively rare, but it's a big problem when it does occur. These bugs are very difficult to shift, and in some cases can be really harmful to lung health and can result in more rapid decline, and they can exclude patients from being eligible for lung transplant.
The worst symptoms for me are fatigue, a really chronic cough and weight loss. So in 2021, I was put on 3 very powerful antibiotics for a year. And I thought at the time that I'd escaped the worst of the side effects, but actually my digestive system has taken a real hit from being on the antibiotics.
Non-tuberculous mycobacteria are hardy environmental organisms. As such, they are often difficult to treat with antibiotics. When one considers that people who get NTM, for example in the lung, can often have an underlying condition such as COPD or bronchiectasis, the situation gets even more complicated.
In terms of how we treat them at the moment, this typically involves very long courses of antibiotics, multiple antibiotics, and often quite toxic ones. These are long courses. The antibiotics we use have very significant toxicities. So, for example, they can affect hearing, they can make people feel very sick, they can affect the nerves and have quite complex side effects like neurological symptoms.
NTM bacteria are difficult to treat because they can evade the body's natural immune defenses. Upon infection, they hide inside macrophages and secrete the enzyme PTPB, which blocks the cell's antimicrobial functions. This allows the bacteria to survive and cause chronic infection. Antibiotics alone cannot address this immune evasion and often fail to reach the hiding bacteria. Professor Lydia Tabernero at the University of Manchester is developing novel approaches that target the immune evasion mechanisms of NTM bacteria, helping restore the body's ability to clear infection. It is not replacing antibiotics. It is designed to help them work better.
We want to both kill the mycobacteria, control the underlying lung condition, and improve a patient's quality of life. This can involve in anti-inflammatory treatments, modulating the immune system, clearing sputum, as well as giving antibiotics.
If we had drugs that were better at clearing the non-tuberculous mycobacteria, if we had drugs that were less toxic, so fewer side effects, but also if they're more effective and could be given for shorter periods of time, any of those would really be major advances.
What is also important is to ensure that the patient understands the aims of treatment and we are hearing what they want us to try and do.
If I had one wish, I think it would be to considerably cut down the treatment so that there was an end in sight and so that I could protect myself from long-term use of antibiotics.
What begins with NTM could reach much further. Because immune evasion targets are conserved across multiple pathogens, including fungi, bacteria, and parasites, this novel approach may have wider potential. NTM is the starting point, with future applications across many chronic and antimicrobial resistant infections.
What would be ideal for me and would would be a miracle for my life would be to have something that boosts your immune system to fight the bacteria. That would be the best outcome for me, because I don't want to go back on antibiotics.
Research is our great hope for the future.